Hi guys, Peter Finch here down the Quest Golf Academy, and it's the next video in the Golf Along series. And what we're going to be talking about here is how you can move your hips through the downswing, drop your hands into a position where we want them, but also not early extend towards the ball, which is a fault that we tend to see with a lot of golfers. Now in the video so far, we've covered that transition phase from the top of the backswing to the downswing, about how you want to be moving the hips and the chest through, getting them synced up at this point. If you've not seen those videos so far, please do check them out. They're all linked above me here. And what we're going to talk about now is how you can make sure that your hips stay back as you hit, and how to make sure that that club isn't being thrown out over the top or dropping too much on the inside of the body. So first things first, how do you want to make sure you're turning the hips correctly and you're dropping the hands down into a good position? Well, if you get yourself set up using a mirror or using a camera behind, make sure that that camera is positioned properly as well, in between your hands and the target. As you're getting set up, taking it up, and then the hips, as you move your weight left, you bump your hips and they begin to rotate. You want your hands and your arms to be moving downwards. You don't want them to be moving outwards towards the ball. That's going to throw the club over the top. Also, if the hands move outwards in this direction, that's going to drop the club in behind the hands and force a very big flip as you come through impact. So what are some of the checkpoints that you want to be seeing? So as you start to move into the downswing, if you turn the hips, bump them first, obviously, then turn, rotate, rotate. At this stage of the downswing, you want to be seeing the hands still inside the ball, so you don't want them to be seen out here. So you want to be seeing them inside the ball, in between the feet and the ball here. And you want to see that club shaft be laid down on the right forearm. If it's above the right forearm, you're generally going to be swinging too steep. If it's behind the right forearm, then you're going to be moving out in this direction. So just get it laid across the top of the right forearm, and that will allow you to move through and turn and bring that club down onto the top of the ball effectively. So to make sure you're practicing that correctly, you can really break it down into a nice little drill where you're getting yourself set up, just taking it to halfway back, and then just practicing that bump, that turn, and then just dropping that club onto the right forearm. So bump, turn, drop onto the right forearm, and then you can actually complete the swing from that point. So it takes a little bit of timing to get used to. But again, that setup, up, hip bump, then dropping those hands and through, and then making sure that you're happy with that positioning, back to the beginning, and then just try and repeat. So only a little half swing. Doesn't need to be a full one, but it's just making sure that you can mold those two movements together. So if you're making those movements nice and efficiently, then absolutely no worries. But what we tend to find is as people move the hips left with a bump and begin to rotate, a lot of people can't control that movement and end up pushing their hips forwards towards the ball. Now this blocks out a lot of room for the hands to actually maneuver into, and that will cause a change to path and a change to club shaft positioning as they move through the ball. So what we want to be seeing is that left hip as it bumps and turns to stay back, and the chest to stay over the ball and not move out and away. Now there's a few different drills that you can use for this. One of the simplest that you can do is if you get yourself set up and you imagine that there is a gate pretty much in between the feet and the ball, which rises up to about hip high. Now what you want to be doing as you come through this, you want to be imagining that your hips are staying behind the fence or behind the gate, whichever way you want to imagine it, a brick wall, it doesn't really matter, just some sort of structure here, that your hips are staying behind and turning left whilst your chest stays over the top. If you can do that, then you're going to be maintaining your posture as you come through the ball, and you're not going to be early extending. The other drill that you can use if you want a little bit more feedback is to get a chair, or you can use a golf bag. Again, if you're doing this at home or at the range, you can alternate, unless you want to take a chair to a driving range, it's up to you. Don't pull your sofa there though, you might get a few stairs. But as you're getting yourself set up, just pop this chair behind your left hip and leave yourself about a hand's width. Because what you want to be doing here, as you move through, try and get that left hip bumping into that chair. Now, if you can get that left hip bumping into the chair, and then you can make sure that your chest is staying over the ball. The one thing you can't have done is made that movement, because you'll be moving away from the chair. So this is a great little feedback drill that you can use. So it's getting yourself set up, moving the hip back and then left and bumping into the chair as you hit. So I know that I've moved back and left and I've cleared the room to come through and strike. Right guys, make sure that you complete those drills so you get the understanding of what you want to be doing with your hips and with your hands, and also making sure that you're not early extending towards the ball. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of these golf along videos, because there are a lot more to come that are really going to help guide you through these months and get you ready for the season. Subscribe to the channel, follow me on my other social media platforms, which are all linked in the description below, as well as the sheet that you can download to make sure you're progressing correctly. And we'll see you guys next time.